you are having a fantastic day on this. It is day? Holy moly, James, that's the sun. Yes, on this episode of Skeptic and Ranting. It is. It's just a green screen. I'm pretty sure the Earth is flat. That was the debate on Modern Day Debate. Sending love to PhD Tony out there.
I'm sure he always does.
Yes, because I mean, flat Earth is so silly. Here's the weird world that we live in, James. Is that flat Earth is extremely stupid, and so too is thinking that the world is 6,000 to 10,000 years old. These are actually good, analogous, equal claims because we've known.
Makes stuff.
Anyway, yes, in this episode, creationists, they're so much fun, of Skeptic and Ranting, we are watching a video from the channel 100 Huntley, not 101 Huntley, not 99 Huntley, this amount of Huntley, called He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural. Dun, dun, dun. So won't you join myself, Amy Newman, and James W. for a supernaturally good time. That is right, everyone. Welcome, one and all, on the inner tubes. Please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. Then hit that bell icon so that you can get reminders to join our live streams and possibly see someone go to Mars. Actually, that might be a little bit longer. We have a hard time getting out of low Earth orbit.
By 2090.
By 29. That does sound more realistic, because unfortunately people make it political. You know, why should I be spending money on space technology? But it always funnels back to society.
The people with most of the money today are keenly aware they're going to be dead in 20 years, so anything that happens after that is not really their concern. They don't care.
Sometimes I think they want to wear shirts like Occupy Terraform Mars, because this is going to be our last reserve after we've destroyed the other planet. But that doesn't make such a sexy t-shirt. And so, yes.
Why should we do anything about climate change? By the time the oceans rise, we'll be in the grave. Okay. We won't care.
Can I make it? I have to make a PSA about this. Again, There was one article, and I think that it's now been a little while, but it always circulates that, sometimes ice does grow. Yes. Generally speaking, if we were to look at the longer trends, it is generally doing massive amounts more melting and then a little bit of freeze, and then massive amounts more melting and a little bit of freeze. But that means you're looking at the losses and gains, that we are losing ice and that it's going bye-bye unless we do something.
Well, I mean, that's like every time it snows in winter, they'll be like, what global warming? It's snowing out.
They'll make a snowball and they'll bring it into the studio and be like, global warming?
They don't know what they're talking about. They're dumb.
Yeah, exactly. But when Ohio starts selling beachfront property, they'll be dead. So it won't matter to them. Yes, exactly. Like, the people who will believe it without a doubt are the people who have to deal with it because there's no longer a choice. Now you're just dealing with the repercussions. What's another interesting thing? Can I show you something? It's why I think people have a hard time understanding like phenomena on a large scale. So it's a trick question, but it's true, but not the full story. What killed the dinosaurs?
Butterflies.
Butterfly. Generally speaking, we like to the way that we view it is that a asteroid 66 million years ago hit into what's up, Titan? Hit into the Earth. However,
specifically the Gulf of America. It was in the Gulf of America, right?
Gulf of America, yeah. I'd be one of those people he threw out. Because
I bet.
My goodness. What were we talking about? The asteroid. The other asteroid.
Yucatan by the Yucatan, yeah.
The different asteroid, not the political asteroid. Yes. And I like to tell people it's not that the asteroid targeted, it couldn't have hit every dinosaur at once, right? That's not how it works. And it's not that the cat wants in, the cat wants out. It's not like the asteroid was targeting dinosaurs, and so it came to Earth, and then it just started hunting them down. Excuse me. No, it's unfortunately more nuanced. What happened is it disrupted weather patterns. You had a form of a nuclear winter, and thus photosynthetic organisms died. And let me tell you, boys, girls, and to trigger everyone, everything in between, when you kill the things that the carnivores eat, the food of the food, everything else dies. Because they are what the foundational of our little food chain. And so all of these different sets of organisms that had to eat plants after this now mass extinction of plants started to go extinct. And then the carnivores that hunted those animals started to go extinct. And the largest niche that fell to this were dinosaurs. All of them except for non-avian variety. The avian variety are the only ones that survived. Almost got that backwards. Non-avian dinosaurs died. Avians, birds, are the only ones that survived that. But again, it's something that was obvious. You have an asteroid, but the actual effect, they didn't die. A lot of the dinosaurs said, wow, that was a big explosion, except they didn't say wow because they didn't have that type of vocal cord. Nonetheless, it is these long-term patterns that cause global effects that cause mass extinctions. And it's hard to view on a 100-year time scale because that's generally not how it works. Longer than our lives. That was a long rant, but it is similar. The same analogy to what killed the dinosaurs could happen to us. I don't know if we are smart enough to know or really stupid because we're smart enough to know and we oftentimes don't do anything about it. So, there's that. I'm done ranting, James.
Yeah, I think you made your point.
Nonetheless, what is up, everybody? Said what's up to Titan. What is up, Sinister? What is up, Nerdy Rodent? What is up, everybody? Keep on saying hi. We'll say hi. We are ranting, in fact, about he didn't believe until he faced the supernatural, because we are watching a video about a man really introducing his couple as going up against a supernatural force. But I guess we'll figure
it's got
out
it
what
all.
it is, James.
It's got everything you could want in this story.
Yes, nonsense upon nonsense. And something to sell. Which
there's always a book.
There's always a book. Oh my goodness. Anyway, might as well hawk our stuff. However, I'll continue to say that's better than, at least a secular charity organization. They're not trying to tie Jesus to a sandwich.
Well, we promise if you give us money in the afterlife, Amy Newman will be your personal slave. She'll reverse the roles, and she'll get on her hands and knees for you.
I mean, if you pay Rachel enough, I assume you can get that in this life. But, you know, but the afterlife too. You know, whatever you're into. It came out that some sort of CNN, I'm trying to remember, announcer came out the other day that he's into kink, you know, being humiliated. And I just want to say that I would never kink shame someone unless that's what they're into. I'm trying to remember his name. Fairly famous.
What's the
guy.
going rate to getting kicked in the nuts by a tranny and made fun of? How much does that cost now?
Listen, it was $200 back in the day. I don't know what it's now with inflation. Yeah. James, I've become an academic, or so they don't say.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I will defend it till the day, because they press me on it. They're like, you know, oh, we should be ashamed and all that stuff. Not at all. And sending love, the oldest profession in the world. Exactly. I think it was the best job. If I were to I love all the jobs that I have now, but I'm just saying, if you were to compare Burger King and Walgreens, I'm just saying, being a dominatrix was better. I had a DEA agent. I also know the whole system's rigged. Like, if I have a DEA agent come to me, that means there's other police that go to them. That means there's probably judges that go to us. And that means that
I'm
James,
sure.
the whole system's rigged.
Even Christian pastors.
Oh, absolutely. Even Ted Haggard. We were talking about that before. We'll go over that again.
Bring plenty of meth so we can stay up all night. We ain't going to bed.
Gonna go all night. But Ted Haggard, I was telling James, because I always get into these arguments, unfortunately, in text chat, and he kept on getting pressed on his sexuality. And he was forced to say something, and I'm paraphrasing, but very close to this. Like, well, I mean, if you were to think of me in terms of like the 80s, and maybe if I was in rock culture, maybe you would refer to me as a bisexual. But let me just reiterate that I love my wife, and all I want to do is have sex with my wife for the rest of my life. And you're like, I was like, okay, there. I told James, like, he has one foot in the closet, out of the closet, and a shout out to my wife. Please don't leave.
Does she put like a mask of a man's face on and get the strap on out?
Yes, I'm pretty sure she gets a strap on, and listen. As long as
you don't have to shave your armpits,
as she makes him feel like a princess, I feel like their relationship goes okay. Again, a shout out to all those bisexual men and women out there. Speak to Rachel and I at the end of this stream. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yes. We are, in fact, ranting on he didn't believe until he faced the supernatural, which we'll go into that. I always want to go ahead, James. I get excited after seeing this now a few times that I just want to call bullshit out the front gate, but no one has the context. Got to give that rich context. But we're getting there. Sending love to everyone out in chat as well as all our admins and the people who disagree with us, and a shout out. Come to our open mic at the let's go fast. Sending love also to everyone who gives us super chats and our channel membership with our evolving badge system right down below. Evolution tends to trigger creationists. I mean, we're all focusing on so much political shit, but my goodness, James, if they came for they could, who knows? I know that one person's they're enforcing one Bible specifically in Texas. Trying to remember the specific county. There is a county that is making their students have copies of, I believe it is just the King James Bible, and has to, because they claim that the Ten Commandments is part of American history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think so. No me gusta, but you know. A few other things in between us giving shout-outs that I just want to talk about and rant at. I'm still trying to get over, you know, maybe it is just a apostate prophet, but like I do feel like there's these waves of like returning to theism among this political reactionary time, and so I don't know what it is. I feel like there was a move a few years ago that was much stronger, and it makes me want to come back with a roaring thunder, because I worry there's still great atheist skeptic channels out there. Sending love to all of them out there. I just worry.
She takes every loss very personally. It really, you know.
Let me tell you, I was worried about Khalil until I found out he was a child predator. And then I'm like, Islam, you can have him. But yeah, originally I was really upset about it. I think Oz was upset about it. Because it does. It feels like they're going into a cult. And I use that word literally with, I know you can hear the venom in my voice, but like, it's not an ad hom. I mean it literally. I don't mean like, because we throw that word around a lot and we mean it for things that shouldn't apply. But I mean it. These are the reason that they don't register in our cult DAR anymore is because as they get bigger, they're harder and harder to micromanage, and as they become harder to micromanage, they get watered down, and as they get watered down and you feel less and less control, it feels less and less like a cult. But if they had their way, the leaders of these organizations, if it was like it originally was, they come and stem from cults. Like, it's almost classic. If I were to explain Christianity in like PowerPoint or MapQuest, like, we are having a blood sacrifice, following a man who you must leave your friends, family, and possessions and follow him because he is your father. James, what does that sound like? And I don't think I'm stretching. I feel like I'm being redundant. I feel like I am being very literal.
Well, it's like, for instance, every time there's a new pope, the very conservative Catholics, they get so hopeful, and then their hopes get crushed because they're like, what? Pope Leo is approving priests and bishops who are more inclusive to the LGBT. Like, did you expect anything different? Look, that ultra hyper conservative church from the that's gone. It's gone. It ain't coming back. Sell. No, you know. I'm sorry if, but every single time they get hopeful. Okay, this is going to be the one who kicks these liberals out. No.
Well, the last pope got to pick a lot of the cardinals, and so you're going to have a larger selection of liberal reformist people of your group. And when you thus change the culture, because now you're going to have more people who want a more liberal pope, if you're going to have a more majority liberal, and so, but that's the only way it's going to a win for the, I don't know, the reactionary, the conservative, wouldn't be a win for the religion. It is truly the only way the religion survives. My joke is Jews, Hotel California, they don't, you know, if you can actually find where the hotel is, you're never leaving. And then, you know, the others just want to, I forgot my James. The others just
even
no, continue.
Even Leo, he's not like hyper liberal, but he's not conservative for the hyper conservatives. Yeah,
reform. The others have to reform, because if you go the other way and you go conservative, you're not going to have new people. You're not going to have fresh blood trying to join. The young people if they want to go to church at all, are going to go to the liberal LGBTQ, the person who wears, you know, a rainbow around them. And so I would rather they go in that direction anyway, because eventually religion is not going to exist. It probably won't be in our lifetime. It probably will always exist in some form, but to really get its tentacles out, but
it'll be a vestige at some point. You know, it'll be just a fringe thing that a few people do, like flat Earth or something like that.
Yes, because its functionality in society is more dependent on a lot of emotional factors, just things like I don't want to die. And so we have to have generations that learn how to deal with death in healthy manners before we get to that type of society.
Well, that, and they've carefully constructed it over the years to be non-falsifiable, so we can't prove it's not real. And since we can't prove that, they're just going to go with it because it gets them over the fear of death.
Exactly. Well, and they have created entire lines, apologetics. I would argue Dawa, even though Dawa is technically inviting to the faith. Both of these are arms of the religion. Technically speaking, Kalam literally was created, not the argument, but the word, to mean rebuttal to these. So all of them, and I'm sure the Jews have some form of it, and all these, and the Hindus, and all of them have some version of intellectual, philosophical arguments that they think are, you know, rebuttals to what they view as the naturalists. The naturalists, James. Crazy. The natural world. Physics. Dare I say even biology. Oh,
coming from you.
I know, coming from me. Because I know, Soros does dictate. We at least bring it up every so often. But being transgender is a social issue. It's not about biology. But you know what is about biology, James? Resurrecting from the dead. Whale dicks. Yes, that actually. For the Ken Hovind fans out there, that is too. But no, resurrecting from the dead, turning water into wine. And I always get the same answer, James. Those are miracles. Those are supposed to be defying the laws of biology. And so he's allowed to do it.
But without whale dicks, we wouldn't have baby whales.
That is that is true. I like whales and dolphins because they are just so frigging smart. They're very emotional. They can pass the mirror test. They do have some drawbacks because when you get highly intelligent creatures, you unfortunately get assholes. Been reports of fucking sexual assault of dolphins against other dolphins and other animals. But they're also very highly intelligent. And yeah,
it's you give them the capacity to have moral judgments and actions, they're all inevitable.
I honestly think that, what we have going on here is not unique. Like, it's unique in that it has to be two outlooks, James. In one way, our consciousness, our sentience, how amazing it is that we can think in like this meta way, thinking about thinking and all this stuff is truly amazing. And yes, among life, it is pretty rare. Nonetheless, I think that it's something that a multitude of other animals do, and that if we were taken out of the picture, the niche would just be filled again. I just think that tool makers and what we do and working in groups, a lot of the times, not everybody, but if you were just to throw one of us individually on an island, we would die. But, in packs, we're able to work together, use our brains, build tools and stuff like that. Yeah, all of that. Anyway, in a second, James, I'll also hand it off to you. And then we'll get into the video we are watching and talking about. He didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. Supernatural is their favorite buzzword. Well, what happened? Well, we can never know. It was supernatural. Great.
Works in mysterious ways.
I know. God works in such mysterious ways. Non-testable ways, too. Gee willigers.
Well, you remember that meme I sent you where the person wrote on the stairs with their snow, and she wrote, if God has never let you down, put amen. And then there's all these people like, hey, really? Mm-hmm. You mean everything you've ever asked God for? He's
perfect
always
life.
Good.
Yes.
I mean,
also, there is a passage within the Bible that says if you pray to God twice, you will get it. I feel like that's easily verifiable. And no one asked for world peace?
No.
Interesting. Or maybe every time someone asks for world peace, someone just has a prayer and they cancel that out. I don't know, James. The logistics aren't exactly World War. What can I tell you? It doesn't make sense. Because they weren't supposed to make sense. These people were supposed to be surviving in the desert. And like of the 1,000 of them surviving, like 2 of them were scribes sitting there in tents making stories.
Oh,
the Jews weren't even around to write it down.
Oh, Lord Jesus, oh, Lord God, please help make Vladimir Putin stop launching missiles into Kiev. Please. Implore his heart. Stop firing missiles into cities. Yeah.
That's about, I don't want to get political, but that's about the affirmation we're going to get from.
That's about as much, That's about
Please don't do it. I'm going to get really mad. Don't make me get really mad. You'll like me still when I get mad. That's how that goes, right?
I'll give him a stern talking to.
Very stern. Really mean. And it'll be on social media. Everyone will know about it. I fucking hate this. Can I also tell you, I was saying this last night, we're not in the Matrix, folks. This is too stupid to be the Matrix. There's no way. If the programs set this up, shame on them. Truly, shame on them. God. Sending shout out to all of our Patreons. Patreon.
Oh, davegar. Absolutely.
/APNewman. What's up, Dave? I know. Oh, I forgot. Yes. Sending love out there, Davegar, DeFreak, Robin, everyone, Sven. I did get glasses. Guitar Dog, Moon Shoes. So I'll tell James the same.
Now you going to return that book, Davegar? Are you going to return your book?
You better return it. And you have to be quiet or else I'm going to make you get loud. Anyway, what were we talking about? Glasses. I told James, and this is funny because it's true and yet it's a joke, okay? But I told James I needed glasses for basically 20 years, since I was like 9 or 10 or some bullshit. I knew I had a stigma, I had to wear an eye patch for a little while and everything. But so there's two reasons. I did not want to comb my hair very specifically, and I didn't want to wear glasses because at that age, I thought they made me look really gay. And I don't think I have to worry about that anymore. Sending love to all genders.
You're advertising now.
Yes, I'm not even sure I know which way is gay, because when you're pansexual, bisexual, trisexual, you know what I mean? Anyway, sending so much stuff out there to the internet. We have many supporters out there sending love to Azo, reminding us we have a Skeptic and Ranting community, reminding us, sending love to Chris Disciple. There are theists in our Skeptic and Ranting community. You just got to be skeptical. I wanted to say so. I keep on thinking about AP. I don't know why. I don't think about him day to day, but now we start streaming and I just started thinking about it. Sending love also to Dale Pastel, reminding us that we're looking for empirical evidence. I'll take argumentation. I'll take two premises and a conclusion. I don't want theology. I'll listen to your theology so you can get over it, and like maybe I'll comment and stuff, but really, like, theology I don't think would convince James. It's not going to convince me. I don't think it should convince a skeptic. That's the difference between an argument. A good argument against, unfortunately, unfalsifiable claims is all we got left. But there's never been a situation in my life where I've been like, oh, shucks, I need to use theology. Not yet. Sending so much love to
Or
Dave.
philosophy, for that matter.
Well, exactly. There's always, you could say, hypotheticals, hypothesis making, but truly, we've moved on from philosophy. The latest tool. I grant philosophy because it's theology's only route. Because the only way that they can sound intellectual is to stop talking about, like, the guy that resurrected from the dead, or like the guy who was in a situation where it rained frogs, or like the guy who was on a animal. I can't call it a winged horse. On a winged organism and chopped the moon in half. I know. Yo, the semantics battle when Muslims don't, not all Muslims, but when fundamentalist Muslims don't believe in evolution. I don't care what it was. There's no winged creature that a human can ride on that we know of. Not yet. Science hasn't gone there yet.
Yeah, I understand, Sven. I'm just, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek when I say philosophy has no use or whatsoever. I'm not speaking literally.
James trying to goad the people who like philosophy. I feel like I'm very neutral on it.
I'm trying to bait philosophy.
Exactly. I think we need some of those sometimes. I think people like Danny sending love out to Phi Talk and people like him.
That's to the extreme. That's to an insane level.
They're good at being able to rebut theologians. So that's a good use for philosophy, but that's very niche. It might be hard to, to create full-time living out of that. But sending love out to Davegar, reminding us that the Earth is round and 4.5 billion years old. And if you disagree with either of those, you're wrong. Like, I don't know how to tell you that 4.5 billion isn't even that old. And if you think the earth is flat, that's just because you're on the internet. I'm just teasing. We're all on the internet right now. Ooh. As well as Rachel Holen reminding us that you can just get slaves from like a goth bar. Chances are 75% of them will say yes. And you don't have to go to the nations around you actually murdering the men and taking the women and children for your own. And those are the good guys, James. I continue to point that out.
I mean,
those are God's chosen.
She keeps some of them. You can't kill all of them.
Yeah. No, I keep one of them. I keep one of them in a mate's outfit. What was I saying? Sending so much love to Rejos, reminding us, James, we are getting back into. I'm so looking forward to the summer. Sending love. I really do love my job. It is an honor. It's felt more also like a traditional class this year. And I felt like I've been training my kids more for college. You probably shouldn't be training second graders for college. But I like to think about trying to build on those. So though you teach them some fundamental things. You teach them what a plant, what an animal is. You teach them shapes. I don't know. Things that, and I know they learn a lot of that in kindergarten, but they learn hexagram, pentagram, what a quadrilateral
you
is.
About pentagrams.
I know. I think about that on you say. But yeah, I just like it because you teach them fundamental things. Nonetheless, I am so excited for the summer. I want to be a producer, James. I am a producer at heart. I want us to get shows and different types of media. I want to update all of the vast media that has been lagging behind because I have felt swamped. I am so bad at managing time. That is what I'm going to try and master over the summer so that when we come back in the winter, we have more consistent episodes. It's never been James's fault, boys and girls. It has always been.
I have a day I can't.
But work and stuff like that. But still, I need to get better at managing time, and then I can. I know my strengths. I unfortunately also know my weaknesses, James. Anyway, sending so much love to Ian Davenport, reminding us that apologetic arguments are terrible. They create these. I mean, Scientology basically is famous for having a rebuttal wing. I'm trying to remember. There are far fewer Scientologists than most people think. I don't know how many most people think. I want to look it up now. It was in the thousands.
As far as they have offices all over it, so where do they get all that money from? With relatively
well, you know that. That was one of the things that Elron. Yeah, only 20 to 25,000 active members. Not a lot, but they have a good, very specifically Elron targeted celebrities. Once you targeted celebrities and you get a few, you start to get an infrastructure that allows you to recruit more celebrities. And there's rumors in fucking Hollywood that say that if you want to move up, Scientology is a great way to do so. It's like metaphorically, because there is no devil, but metaphorically selling your soul to the devil. The devil's truly the good guy anyway. So I guess it's selling your soul to God? I don't know. Just looking at the story of Job and other things.
Mark.
What's up, Mark? Sending so much love. Oh, Mark and Sinister, send love. I'll send some love to both of you. So much, in fact. That's what dance.
35 months. Yeah, it's a long time.
35 months. With
almost 3 years.
He is definitely a rocket. Woohoo! Sending so much love to Mark Reid and sending so much love to Sinister Porpoise. You mean teachers are busy? I can't believe that. At least there's a I mean, oh my goodness. It is the only one of the main things I like about being a teacher is there is a culturally acceptable break. Like you just, yeah, now we're off. The best feeling in the world. Again, I love what I do. I love the staff there. I love my aides and everyone. That my kids have been actually great this year. Not that my kids weren't great last year. I'm just saying I had a really great bunch this year, and yeah, I'm still looking forward to a good vacation. I think our brains, what's up, Rachel, just naturally start to leave towards the end as well. Like, it's June. We're all basically in swimsuits, and actually I am teaching different types of lessons. I'm basically trying to get a few more worksheets in because you have to grade. But besides that,
sending so much love. Those TPS reports ready?
Those TPS reports. No, I'm trying. You just got to get specific lessons. Their math is very highly organized. And then I'm trying to get their science is getting interesting. I'm teaching them things like what an animal is. You know, the fact that we eat food and the fact that we move and things like that. And I was able to use Minecraft as an example. I love how much I'm able to connect with these kids because of Minecraft. Just sit there. I'm not going to say his name because I never. But I'm just like, hey, so and so, fungi, because I'm teaching the 3 plants, fungi, and animals. Because Archaea is, that's way further grades. And I'm like, don't fungi exist in Minecraft? They're like, I'm like, that's right. So you're trying to make that connection.
Yeah, it's
just that my aides always stare at me like I'm crazy when I talk about Minecraft, but sending love to my aides who are amazing.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all new TPS reports before they go out. Did you get the memo on that?
New TPS reports? That sounds what's it called?
The new cover
Office
sheet.
Space?
Yeah.
That's I'm afraid I did it. Is that the guy with the thick glasses that's giving that, or is that the guy, or is that the manager? That was a great movie, though.
It certainly was.
Okay, we sent shout-outs. Okay, I guess I am going to hand it over to you for just a quick second, and then we will get into it.
That's right, Mark.
What's that?
You're being lumbered.
Doom, 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 doom. A little bit.
The funny thing is, like 2 minutes after Bill Lumberg leaves, the next boss comes over and starts telling him the exact same thing. Like,
listen, I'll get the TPS report. Bosses,
and every time I make a mistake, I have 6 people coming to tell me about it.
Let me tell you, that does sound like working a government life. Sending love to all federal, state, and otherwise jobs out there. Shit, they freaking need it right now. Not trying to get political. Sending so much love. It's almost midnight now. Woohoo! So, James, we are kind of doing
the direct opposite side of the world, yeah.
We're just doing a midnight ranting in Australia. But yes, I'm handing it over to James for, what's up, Jefferson Spatchcock? What's up, Sandals? What's up, everybody? Sending so much love one more time to the Sinister Porpoise and Mark Reid. However, hand it over to you, James. We are Skeptic and Ranting on He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural. I'm sure you have come across people who have told you, both on these, not just in these shows, but even in real life, these supernatural claims. What are your thoughts when people come to you with these?
Supernatural claims, well, I mean, I think they're very powerful for the person having them, but they usually are very weak for other people who did not have that experience. So, I mean, you take it for what it is. sometimes people aren't lying. They may really believe what they're saying, but from our standpoint, there's really not much we can do with that. It's obviously very meaningful to them, but we've never had that experience. So I've never seen anything that would lead me to believe any religion is true, despite being open to the possibility. So yeah, I came across a meme I sent to Amy early in the week. It's it's probably AI generated, but it's somebody standing at the bottom of a staircase with snow on it, and on the stair steps they wrote, "If God has never let you down, put amen." And it's like, that all the people saying that have, if they're believers, they've asked God for things, they've prayed, they've had things in their life that they really needed that didn't go according to plan. They've had loved ones that had bad things happen to them, and God has let them down. But it's like they only count the hits, not the misses. They only really count when it seems like something is answered, something does happen that they've asked for. They don't count all the times when they pray and nothing happens, and I guess it's part of his plan. It's not, who am I to say? God knows better. He knows best what's best for me. But they still have that attitude, like that he's always there for you. He's always listening to your prayers, and he loves you. And it's like there was a Christian song I heard about maybe a year ago, and they're saying, like, they're recounting all the things God did in the Old Testament. He freed the Hebrew slaves. He brought the walls of Jericho down, and they're trying to say he's the same God today. Well, no, he actually isn't, because he doesn't do anything today. At least nothing overt. He doesn't take direct action like that anymore. And you have to ask yourself why. Why was he willing to do all that stuff thousands of years ago, but he hides himself so well today? And I would assert that it's because he was never there. He was never doing all that things. The way things are today is the way things always have been. And you're just making unfalsifiable claims about things that happened centuries or millennia ago that are impossible to falsify, but we also have no evidence for them, no reason to believe that they're true. And that's where faith comes in. Christians, they're always talking about their Bible, and it's just like a meme asserted amongst them that the Bible is perfect. It's never been proven wrong. It's always right. And I mean, that only really works unless you've read it or you pay attention to it or you actually just know anything about it. But no, it's not perfect. And two, where did the Bible even come from? Was it given on high from heaven? Was it sent down from the clouds in its present form? No. It's a compilation of various ancient writings that were floating around the region that they looked at, and there were lots of them that were so off the wall. They said things they didn't like, and that's what they excluded. They kept the things that they liked, that had doctrines they agreed with, that were not falsifiable. The ones that made the more outlandish claims or were easier to falsify, they cut those out. So the Bible has the hands of ancient man all over it. It's got the hands of people in the first century at the church councils that decided on the canon. In no way was it given on high from God. And they're going to tell you, the Holy Spirit, he guided those people at those councils because we needed to have a Bible. So he would not let them canonize a book that was wrong. And he would not let them non-canonize a book that had information that we would need. So therefore we can trust the Bible because it's the Holy Spirit that helped man put it together the right way. And you got that. Why would God do that? Why does he care if we have an accurate understanding of his word? There are people who never get to read the Bible, and most Christians, these mainline ones, will say they're condemned, they're damned. It doesn't matter if they've ever read it. It's not God's responsibility to get them the information. But even still then, even with the Bible, what do we have? We have what it says. Okay, even if you assume it's correct, and the books that we need are in there, and the books that we don't need are not in there. That just tells us what it says. It does not tell us what the information means, what the verses actually mean. That is what's open to interpretation. And you will scarcely find a verse in the New Testament that there is universal agreement among Christians about what it actually means. We know what it says. What does it mean? And they've all got different interpretations and doctrines and different exegesis and hermeneutics, and they don't agree about what it means. And they'll tell you, well, there's confusion about some of the Aristotle or Socrates or Virgil. We don't know exactly what they said, or if everything they said or attributed to them is actually theirs, or if it was later additions. We don't know that. And that's true. But nobody's making threats of eternal damnation if you don't correctly determine what is and what is not the legitimate works of Aristotle, or whether Virgil said this or didn't say that, whether that was said by him or something attributed to him later by a follower or a fan. There's no threat. It's academic. You could be wrong. It's okay. But with the Bible, with the New Testament, you can't, because you're held by God to the standard of knowing what it says, believing, and knowing what it means. Actually, you have to get the right interpretation. Otherwise, you're screwed. And we don't see that with anything else. So that's why when they try to apply these broad rules, like that there is ambiguity, there is vagueness in history. We don't know everything. So you can't hold the Bible to that same standard, but the stakes are so high with the Bible that, only Protestants are sola scriptura, but the other denominations, they certainly use the scriptures. They don't claim that they can contradict the scriptures. They just have a different interpretation of them. So the Catholic Church, they claim that authority to be able to interpret it, but they claim that they have smoothed out all the apparent contradictions, but the results of that seem quite very tenuous in cases. You have verses that clearly say salvation by faith, and then you have verses that clearly say the opposite, and trying to reconcile those together, it really doesn't work unless you are just so damn determined to believe it that you'll accept whatever kind of rationale, whatever reasoning they can throw out at you.
Mm-hmm. What is up, Ryan? What is up, the Music Bible? And I think sometimes they start, and lovely to have Theus here. We're probably going to say things that you might disagree with, but we actually love to have more and more Theus. I think sometimes they start with the answer and then,
of course,
work backwards. And that is something I'll want to go.
Well, that's what they had, the Christian doctrines, before they had the Bible canon. They just looked for writings that affirmed what they already believed, what didn't contradict. And if it contradicted something they already believed, they excluded it. Therefore, it's not a true book. It's apocrypha.
Almost an evolutionary natural selection way of applying it.
Yeah, Enoch was too wacky. It had some crazy shit in it that they were too embarrassed to try to defend, so they cut it out.
And all right. we are going to get into Haha, it wasn't letting me click the proper buttons, and you could just feel the gears slowing down. But yes, there we go. We are Skeptic and Ranting on He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural. We are going to, I think, deal with some of those topics that James was talking about with those different denominations. I feel him call one out or two in this, and I just want to bring those up. But let's get into it. We are hearing it from the channel 100 Huntley. He didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. Let's have some fun.
So between the time that we purchased our first home, backing up a little bit before that, that was when we were going to this.
You can't help it. Let's just start by saying this is Aaron Armstrong, a skeptic turned Christian after terrifying supernatural experience. Okay, so let's see how much or what type of skeptic he was.
Program at our friend's church, and we went to this, and it's like, okay, great.
Oh,
we know what he believes. Good for him.
Church.
We're going to continue on our merry way. We moved into our house. Things were generally fine. Things started to get unusual, particularly after I bought my first Bible.
Wait. So you visited a friend, you both, went to his church, and then you went out and you bought a Bible, and this is supposed to be random? Sounds like you're actually mentally prepping yourself.
What I found that was really interesting was that the Jesus that was in the Bible was nothing like the Jesus that I had picked up on through media at all.
Wow.
That this was someone that I had to take seriously.
What was he like?
That this was someone who actually had authority, who had power, who had purpose in what he was doing and saying.
And how does that conflict with the Jesus that you've heard about?
I also like the cultural Jesus they're trying to push is like he's a nice guy who was always doing the right thing. And it's like, yeah, it turns out he was whipping people, and sometimes he was going after fig trees for no reason. A lot of random stuff. But okay.
We killed that fig tree.
To be nice, or wasn't any other kind of thing that you can think of.
Yeah.
And when I started thinking about that, that's when I started experiencing this, what I had no category for, but was really spiritual opposition.
So what did that spiritual opposition look like?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I talked with James Allah Akbar. I always joke. See, I got to be very careful because I don't want to insult you. I like saying Allah Snack Bar. Don't hate me. I love you. You're welcome here. Theists are actually welcome. We want the opposition, though. I want to know what the spiritual opposition that he was going through, James, because we talked about this, and I said I didn't want to talk about it till we got there. But isn't that interesting? Let's figure that out.
Look like in your home.
Hey, I can say Assalamu alaikum. I like saying that in real life, even though I am very much an atheist.
So there were a number of different things.
Okay.
So there were certain rooms that we just wouldn't go into after a certain time of night. Like,
why?
We couldn't explain why.
Okay. It must have been terrible, James. Again, these are supernatural forces. What could possibly be so scary that is, stuff that's gotta be.
Amy doesn't go into the laundry room of her house at any time. She couldn't even find it. She has never seen her washer and dryer, but she's pretty sure it's in there somewhere, right?
There's a reason that I shove middle-aged men into French maids' outfits, okay? There's a reason. What are we talking about? Anyway, it has to be really spooky if he's being convinced the demon.
Darth Dawkins?
But like our
Yes,
Darth Dawkins in a French
never
maid-out?
wanted.
Oh my! I'm pretty sure that is what happens.
Mr. Batman wouldn't even complain about it.
No, I'm pretty sure he'd get excited for that.
To go to after about 10 p.m.
Wait, hold
Our
on.
bathroom was a place we never wanted to go to after about 10 p.m.
What? Why?
So what do? You pee in a bucket? I mean, all right, it's 9:50. Hurry up, everybody, go to the bathroom because we're not gonna go in there after 10.
Why? Oh, demons.
Okay.
There's just something about it.
And you both felt it.
We both
Something about it. We both felt it. We were both scared of the bathroom past a certain time period.
felt it. And it all kind of came to a head one night where I woke up.
From the
The
head.
jokes are actually too easy, so overwhelming. Most of them are disgusting that we're just gonna push forward.
And
You're
I
welcome.
fell. And I
Like
woke,
you fell? What do you
like
mean?
like
Oh,
I
you
fell.
Mhm.
Like
Like
I
you were
was
in your bed?
I was in my bed, but I wasn't. But I was falling into my bed.
Okay.
Okay, this is an interesting point. Another thing I brought up with James. Okay, so he's falling into his bed. Let's just go with the logistics
And
here.
so I heard what to me sounded like stop it. Or go away.
Dominoes.
And it was Emily saying this, and it sounded like a loud shout. She actually said she was like tearfully quiet.
Okay, so we're gathering data points. He's sinking in the bed and imagining that his wife is telling him to go away. She isn't saying anything. Plus,
Scared. Well, what was she seeing?
She was seeing what she saw was me being lifted out of my bed.
she saw him being lifted out of bed. So, two completely contradictory data points. Saying exact opposite things. I know he's really good at somehow, I had to watch this over and over, and yet they're saying the exact opposite.
Oh, wow.
And so that was a very confusing experience, and so it led to me.
I can't take the. Should I? Oh, God. But it's multiple reasons. Sending love to Yusuf. I can't help it. Should I just let them handle it in chat? I want to answer so bad. But there's cephalization. We actually have a way to notice that organisms that have heads, their major sensory organs want to be where the mouth is. Anyway, continue. I can't get into it. Sending so much love.
The heartfelt but uncertain prayer that so many of us do, which is when we're in this tension point of
What tension
belief
point?
and non-belief of I don't even know, God, I don't even know if you're real, but if this is real, can you let us know and make it go away?
So you feel yourself fall in the bed and now you're lying there helpless. Do you feel anything else when you say this prayer?
Well, after I said that prayer, that's when things got worse.
It got really weird. Okay, how?
Because at that point, it felt like about a 200-pound man was sitting on my chest.
Kinky.
And so I couldn't move.
And he knows what that feels like.
Listen.
But there was this awareness and this presence that was like, he doesn't want you. He can't have you.
Yo, this is the second time he's had insecurity issues. And listen, we all go through shit. Okay, we all have our own thing, but this is becoming a pattern.
Can't go to him. You're ours.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
mine now, you belong to me.
Yeah. It was.
Well, I mean, if a man's sitting on your chest, does sound like Try to make it his. I'm sorry. This is clearly a traumatic moment for him.
It was super unusual. I've never had an experience like that.
His
before.
first Cleveland steamer.
And
Yusuf, it wasn't over millions of. It was over millions of years. Look at organisms like amphibians that naturally have life cycles actually built in where they don't have legs and eventually do. Good systems. Do.
While that was happening, I started to remember things I had been reading about Jesus, particularly his authority over over all powers and principalities of angels and demons and everything in the universe.
How did we get to angels and demons? Because so far it sounded like you have been afraid your wife is going to leave you, and you're afraid God's going to leave you.
And so I asked him to save me, not even with vocal words because my mouth wasn't working. And
again, more people's mouths not working. Like physically, or was it more that it was a dream? Again, I'm not saying that I know 100% sure that it's a dream, but like they have completely different experiences. And, you know, I could just imagine them waking up the next day and being like, oh, it happened to you too. And you were there and I was, and them going back and forth. And even though they don't match up, they like make it match up by the things that are the same. Like it was a demon and you were there.
To make these things go away. And they did in an instant.
I'm just taken aback. And,
I am too.
You know, to see and hear about the power of God, the power of Christ, to
Compels
overcome
you.
spiritual darkness and oppression.
Yusuf, we aren't frogs. It's that we have all animals are related common ancestors. So you could see where we break off. There were animals within the sea that eventually were able to have mutations that eventually allowed them to walk on land. You can also see specific type of fish that do still have legs that can walk on land. Like, I want to know what your alternative is. How and why are all these organisms different? Like, why is a dog different than a cat? Why? How? Can you tell me any of that? Because we can, science can, going back into it. We are Skeptic and Ranting on He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural. Yeah, I get you believe He created everything, but how? Why? Any logistics? I mean, like anything. Because we can. And when I say we, I mean like scientists. I don't mean like James and myself. I very specifically mean, in this case, it's biologists. If we were to go out further and further, it would eventually be chemists, and we go out further, it would eventually be physicists. It doesn't mean your God's not real, but fundamentalists, religious individuals seem to really hate evolution. I mean, that's why we talk about it. We make this joke every time at the beginning of the show. We can't help ourselves. But again, you're not insulting us. We love the opposition. You're welcome as long as you don't break the TOS and all that stuff, and you treat our admins and people with respect. Everyone treats people with respect. Sending so much love. And let's get back into it. He didn't believe until he faced the supernatural.
To also hear the story of someone experiencing this on this side of heaven, right? To know this is really real.
Is
your
it
wife at the time? Well, you guys weren't married yet, but
okay. I told James, and this was my initial when I had just seen this the first time. This is all I took away from it, and it still baffles me, James. Okay, I'm just gonna let this roll at this very point.
Emily's lying there. What's going on for her?
So for her, she she was scared and crying, and while all of this is going on, she just felt this
Different.
realization that she needed Jesus to save her.
Okay.
She asked.
Okay, so she needs Jesus. She's having this revelation.
Christ to save her about 3 seconds before I did. In that,
I like this. 3 seconds. Can we measure that? No, get away. But if you're married, and you've been married anywhere longer than 6 months to a year, you should be smart enough to always make sure that you say your wife wins. And she did it first. Continue.
That time frame, she was like, okay, whatever I have to do, like if he doesn't also, then I'm prepared for us to be all done.
Wow.
And like she was like, I will do whatever I have to do to follow Jesus.
Okay. Can we just appreciate that? Because in those like few seconds, she was like, you know what? I love Jesus. And if my husband does it, guess I'm gone. Okay. And this is what I mean about a cult. Is that not
he says, leave your family,
Exactly.
To love me, you must hate your family. You must hate your wife and kids.
Gotta hate them. Gotta leave them. Gotta follow me. Again, natural, normal, happy. So logistics, as in like you say he just spoke it, because you want logistics from us. So like when I ask how does a dog and a cat come about, we can say, well, we can look at how far they have branched apart. I love carnivorar. Carnivorar is the branch right above cat and dog that holds so many awesome animals, seals, bears. And so like we can see in the geological column where things separated. We can tell you the how, and sometimes science doesn't really answer the why, but sometimes we do know the why. We can tell features, they decided to move this way. This type of environment is more naturally suited. I mean, there's reason. We can explain why a polar bear is white. Like basic stuff like that.
The blending with the snow.
Exactly. And it's not just the word of God. Again, nothing I'm saying in the evolution debate ever disproves God. The problem is that the religious fundamentalists are insecure about their religion, and they think that evolution is a defeater for their God. And it probably is for many fundamentalist versions. The problem is there's so many gods, and you could just very quickly become a old-time theist or whatever you want to call themselves. But yes, not going to get too jumbled down. Keep on going forward. Send in love. He didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. And I love this point, James. Again, she's like, okay, I'm about to leave him. I love Jesus. I know you're not a Christian, Yusuf, so you don't believe. You believe in the, but still, it doesn't matter. You don't believe in evolution because of your God. Let's be for realsies. If you did not believe in your God, you would be, I believe, way more open. Unfortunately, again, you could accept evolution and still be a Muslim and still be a theist and still be whatever you want, because evolution is a fact. Like we say theory because just like it's the theory of gravity and the theory of germs, the germ theory of disease, like
he must be trolling out there. He's like,
let me tell you something. If he's a Muslim, on the internet, unfortunately, they lean Muslim. They lean Muslim. Look at me, my mental dyslexia. Then they lean towards fundamentalism. There we go. I got that.
Well, he's leaning into the special pleading, saying that God is the only being that doesn't require a creator. That we say that's a special pleading. He's leaning into it. It just seems off.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't answer the infinite regress. God would have. I have actually an opposite kalam. Okay, I said I wouldn't, but it's so fast. All right. Everything that exists has a cause. They claim God exists. Therefore, God has a cause. What's God's cause? Again, that's not the Kalam. That's my own atheist version of it. I'm continuing before we get muddled down. Though I actually love the back and forth. The reason I don't want to get muddled down is because I love it so much. Okay.
And which is amazing. And,
it's amazing.
She didn't tell me that.
Okay, I can't help it. No, get back in the mindset. His wife's about to leave him.
To follow.
Okay.
And which is amazing.
And it's so amazing, James. So good on her.
And she didn't tell me that till like way later. I'm like, well, thanks for telling me. But
I know, see, that's the truth. See, there we go.
But also good for you.
Yeah.
But see, he added that again because he wants to continue being married. Yeah.
Who else do you remember who said that? We used to have a guy. He came on once in a while who said, he used to be an atheist until he met his wife, and she was trying to convince him of it, but she couldn't make it make sense to him. So he just said, well, I love you, so I guess it doesn't have to make sense. I want to be with you. And yeah.
Yes.
So
and
I'll surrender. I'll give up my sanity for love.
And this individual is now defending the religion. Goes on debates defending the religion, even though main reason that he converted, well, my wife, she said it was true. I mean, listen, you should continue to listen to your partner. What your partner says is often true. I just don't think that's a good reason to believe that there's a consciousness outside of time and space that is, yeah. Rachel she came in, she's like, thumbs up. Yes, just not if you think that it's the almighty creator of the universe. Then that needs good evidence. She keeps on. Anyway, let's finish up here. I just think this point's so funny. It's a little denial there.
It's true. You guys have this incredible encounter with the spiritual realm and with the power of Christ.
Did they?
And the next morning you wake up and look at each other. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's your question there.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
a Christian.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. And
what happened last night? How did we get in here?
We both had a dream. And then, James, we decided we could make money too. And just like that, we believe in Jesus for $19.95. Okie dokie.
Autographed copy for $39.99.
Exactly. Line up now.
Boy, did you ever surrender in a Road to Damascus? We're referencing the story of Paul there, where he's...
Well, you say Road to Damascus. It's actually now to Amazon, and they actually ship it out way easier.
Blinded kind of way.
Yeah. And
so what did you guys do the next day?
Blinded by the light.
We had breakfast with
I was gonna joke
friend,
something about
the
pancakes.
friend who was a Christian. Yeah, the one you were buying the Bible to.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so again, they met someone who was, because they often tell us, again, why am I prefacing even to begin with? They're often like, well, I mean, it could happen to anyone. It's just random. It came out of the blue. Well, did it? You went to a church with your friend, then you bought a Bible, and then you both had dreams that were incongruent, and now you're making money. No, it makes it that actually checks out to me.
And you didn't go to the bathroom after 10 p.m.
Yeah, and didn't go. Oh my goodness, exactly. James, they knew that demons were in this house because they would not go to the bathroom after 10 p.m.
I mean, let me tell you, even in my place, after, if I've eaten Taco Bell, there may be some demons in the bathroom. But...
There may be. Sending so much love to Mark Reid. Hopefully we're tucking you into bed, but I also want to give you a warning. Please, Mark, be careful of the bathroom after 10 p.m., apparently, because then you will have a dream in which you will either be pushed into the bed or out of the bed, and then you will either be screaming or not talking. So
if you're pushed into the bed, it's not that your wife is on top of you.
Yes.
It's something worse, something bad.
I want to be honest, James. I feel like that was, very subjective. For a lot of people out there, what happened to him would have been a very good treat.
So, carry a flashlight and holy water into the bathroom with you. Maybe a crucifix. I guess if you're in there and the demons come, you can see if Bob Larson will answer the phone. Maybe you can perform an exorcism of the bathroom over Zoom. I am sure if you pay him like $5,000, he would.
What does this mean? You solved all physics easy? How? How did you solve this? I love you so much.
I hear.
We're glad you're here.
Hear stuff like that from religious people all the time. There's one I used to know from when I was a Christian, and I saw he's got a book like Einstein was wrong, like disproving all of Einstein's theories. And in one book, I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I didn't realize you had a physics degree. He didn't. He does.
No, he had a degree in reading the Bible. Sending so much love to Burt Russell. Oh my goodness. Listen, we accept all kinds here, but there's a little bit of skepticism here. I don't get it. Yusuf, can I ask you, what would change if evolution were true? Okay, let's just imagine. Evolution's true. What now? Does anything in your life change? Does your God go away?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And he was thrilled.
Yeah.
So it was really just a matter of we started regularly going to the same church that he was a part of, and so that became our church for our first few years as Christians.
There you go.
And so we worked through
again, James. It comes back full circle. Wow, what a coincidence! They ended up in the church that they went to visit. Wow, God works in very mysterious ways, or I guess very specific, direct ways that seem like humans did them.
Process on how do we navigate this particular issue of our living arrangement. We came to a not ideal situation, but God was kind in that. And on top of that, we were learning things like, okay, how do we actually pray? How do we read the Bible? How do we study the Bible? So navigating
so it's talking to yourself. It can't be that hard. You'll be okay.
What's
up, BB?
And everything you can imagine.
And in doing all that, I mean, that's what you're talking about here, a guide to your new life in Christ, trying to navigate those realities. I think some of the questions I'll get from family members sometimes is, if that movie's representing something very dark and evil, is there a demonic or spiritual presence behind it?
Right.
The answer is no. The answer is conflict and tension are what naturally make a fascinating story. Oh.
Or is that just creative license, or all these different questions? And it leads me, and I think that's why, I'm a Christian now. It's such a great resource, because it's a step-by-step. You're walking people through what it means to follow Jesus in a new season of their life. They're born again here and trying to figure that out, get your footing.
Yep.
But I do wonder about, when you talk about that presence that was happening in your house all that time ago, you're many years out from that now, and you know the Bible well, you've lived out your walk quite a bit with Jesus. Do you think that presence was connected to anything you were letting into your lives or had let into your lives?
I like this question because what she's saying is, you think you did anything wrong? You think you guys did anything naughty? She's trying to put it back on them.
I think to some degree.
Well, that's what they always do that.
Emily.
I mean, like, it's like if it's like they're all, because their theology, God is the cause of all the problems, but they have these doctrines and things, that loopholes that actually absolve him of any blame. Like he's the one with all knowledge, all power. He's the one who created everything the way it is, but yet he has no responsibility for anything that goes wrong. It's not his fault. It's all other people's fault. He is good. He's perfect. He's a just, loving God, but all these bad things that happen, he can't fix it, or because that would be unloving.
Exactly. It unwind the 4D chess, James. You see that cruelness is actually love. You just don't see it yet because of all the cruelness.
Good. Well, and it's like even when they're talking, even when someone brings up something terrible like cancer, And they'll be like, well, they basically try to make it like, oh, well, it's mostly a lifestyle choice, or, it's the person's own fault that they got cancer because, they did this, they did that, they didn't eat right, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they smoked, they spent too much time in the sun, it's all their fault.
The good things, though, that was Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I said one thing, and then we're going to wrap up here. I know we both kind of have to head out, unfortunately, around 1-ish. But I do want to just send love again to Yusuf. Okay. I just want to know 2 questions. What is the shape of the Earth? And how old is the Earth? Because we're talking physics, right? How old? What shape? Bada, bada, bada. Sending love again as well.
In a spiritual but not religious home, and so there was dabbling with all sorts and kinds of things, and so that would
went inside
open the door
spiritually,
to some of that. And
what do you think theologically now when you look back on that experience?
I shouldn't have went to Hot Topic so much. That's what he's trying to think. No, he's right. Peanut butter is actually funny too.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
One is that it's one of those things that has always prevented me from falling into a pure into a baptized naturalistic worldview.
James, does that phrase sound weird to you, or is it normal? It just sounded
I've
weird.
never heard that phrase before. It sounds pretty weird.
Okay, because that signaled to me I don't know, this is a Catholic fundamentalist channel or something? I was trying to they're taking a pot shot at Baptists, they're putting them with naturalists. I don't know. Normally that's not I thought.
Well, I think I don't know if he's trying to take a shot at Baptists. I think he's trying to I think he's trying to compare our naturalism, we're baptized into it, it's just something we accept, it's something Christians just accept, or like baptism.
Hold on, I saw something so.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying not hard to get off track, but how is the Earth a wave? What does that even mean? I understand. I don't want to, because it truly, in a language barrier, I'll continue to make the same comment. The fact that you speak English, you probably speak it better than I do if you just try to listen to me longer than 15 minutes. So, but what does that mean? Help me out here, because when you say the Earth is a wave, what did you just become, a hippie on me? Are you postmodernist? I just tease you gently because it's round. It's round. And it's unknown.
You ever go to the Phillies game, do the wave?
Indeed. Oh my goodness. There's many ways to do the wave at a Phillies game. The traditional way, you start to boo the people that you hate. The third way, you start to boo the people that you love. Sending love to Philly, my hometown. And how is it unknown? It's 4.5 billion. Forget the wave part. What do you mean forget the wave part? So wait. Oh no. Yes, no, I thought it was Victoria. Sorry so much. I thought he was saying that. That was triggering me. Victoria is amazing and sending so much love. I want to know what a wave.
Oh yeah, I thought that was him too. Victoria's in.
Sending so much love out there. We are skeptic and ranting on he didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. Wait, there's a second person. Have you read the Quran? I have read passages of the Quran. My favorite chapter, my favorite surah. We all have a favorite surah, right?
It's hard to pick. There's so many good ones.
My favorite surah is both the moon rising, where he goes and hits the moon in a single sentence. It's a single sentence. And then my second surah is the ant. The ant has to be my favorite because, well, he's talking to an ant. He falls on his tuchus. He falls on his butt. It's a pretty.
Don't they have some crazy surahs about camels too?
It's a holy book, so they have a whole they retell a lot of the Bible stories, so they have their own versions of them. Some of it's the same, some of it's different, and yeah. Anyway, it's round and it's 4.5 billion years old. But yes, what is up?
Are there prophets? No.
And are there prophets? Yeah, James knows that's another one of my shticks. There aren't prophets. Prophets aren't a thing. Not that there's no last prophet, no first prophet.
Never a first prophet.
Never a first prophet. I'm taking pot shots at the Jews too. There were no first prophets. Again, I mean that metaphorically because I would have a beverage because some of them can't drink alcohol. But, I'll have a beverage. I'll break bread with everybody. Tell me the verse that you're talking about. I'm fairly sure it's the moon, and then the only actual one line is Muhammad flying on the winged organism and cutting the moon. Do you believe the moon was cut in any form? Because I hear apologetics for it, or dawa, or kalam, whatever you want to call it, for all of it. It's only just the scar. They bring up they'll try and show me moon pictures. Do you believe the moon was cut in half? Oh my goodness, I know, but I'm sending love out there just randomly into the universe. Could be people, could be the. But yeah, I can't help myself. I would fight for your freedom any day of the week. I think we should treat different religions, no matter, even Christians and Muslims and Jews, with respect. Name a cooler mode of transport. Okay, we're going forward. Yeah, that's cool. I'm writing a book about angels. I am almost halfway done, James. I'm getting so close. Oh my God. Each and every day I had to work through. The only book about angels that isn't going to be that they have any sort of religious component. A bunch of my angels are religious because they're supposed to be reflections of who we are. And unfortunately, for better or worse, some of us are religious. So some of them are religious. Of course, there is some corrupt government organizations and corrupt religious organizations, and so
are there some who are gay?
I think I need to make gay characters and LGBTQ characters. It's complicated because I haven't focused on relationships so much. My main character's gonna get a relationship. I haven't thought about him yet because I'm not up to him yet. And the strongest character at the beginning of my book is going to get a wife eventually. And I love that duo because my strongest character, this badass bounty hunter who is being targeted, he has a bounty on his head. And he is trying to protect my main character, this little girl who is half human, well, half Wingle, because they're both half Wingle, half non-Wingleless. God damn it, I can't even say it. Half angel, half Wingle. Because I'm trying to think in the middle of my thought if I should not use it or not. It's like slang. It's slang within my own book. It's almost like a curse word, but so too is angel. Angel is technically a curse word in my book, but it's hard to be insulted by someone calling you an angel. It kind of mirrors that whole fucking yes. No, handsome man, but I'm not gay. Huh. Okay. I like it when men say that out loud. All right. I am peaceful. I'm making dawa. I know you are.
100% straight. 100%.
We were talking about that actually before you came in. The Christians have apologetics. The Muslims have dawa. Jews have Hotel California. They all got their own shtick. But yes, he didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. We actually want theists to come in. It's the dirty little secret, is we love talking to skeptics. We love having each other on, and we want to support each other as a secular community. But we kind of love having theists with us. It is the jelly to our peanut butter, or the peanut butter to our jelly. The Batman to our Robin. No, the Batman to our Joker. Something like that. Let's finish up before my analogies get further and further apart.
I'm not hearing audio. Is that just me?
You're not hearing the audio? Oh, let me stop sharing and resharing. I don't know why that is, but we're gonna just share entire screen. Boop, boop, boop. All right, we're finishing up on he didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. I'll continue to face James. What supernatural has he faced so far? There has been no threat except the ones right in here, locked in their skull.
The bathroom is spooky.
Yeah, that is seriously been the main threat, and it's
I
not
don't know
like
what
a
it
public
was.
bathroom, it's their own bathroom.
I can't tell you what it is or anything, but it's really scary.
Really super scary. Really, really super scary.
I'm afraid something's going to come through the up through the toilet and bite my pee-pee.
And trying to explain them away. The difficulty there is
I'll come back to that.
Is that we can start to assume that these things don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that
that's the problem, is that you start to rationalize things away. Like maybe this is a dream. It could have been a hallucination. It could have been many things. The last thing you need to go to before you have good evidence is supernatural. All right, I can't help myself. All right, Yusuf, I've gone on many Dawaist channels. I enjoy that you're here trying to invite us and debate with us and talk with us. But I am proud to be related to frogs. I'll tell you why, okay? This is what I think. This is the difference between the creationist evolutionist divide is that the way that a theist creationist views it is they're like, look, we are up here. This is humans. And this is the frog. Why would you want to lower yourself down to the frog? But I don't see it that way. It's that I see as all amazing individuals, all of life as truly amazing. And so we are all up here equal in our own different, separate ways. Sending so much love.
And when we are no more evolved than they are evolved.
Exactly. There truly is no more evolved. I'll tell you the only group of people that are slightly more evolved than you when you have children. Because that is how evolution works. It technically works the aggregate over populations, but that the function, the mechanism that happens is through having babies. What about plants? Exactly. We were just talking about, we rely way more on plants, Yusuf, than plants would ever rely on us. If you think about it, a lot of the Texans, the meat eaters here, they make the joke that's I don't want to go vegetarian. That's the food my food eats. But the food our food eats is very important for keeping the life cycle in order. If we were to die right now, all humans, gosh forbid, the planet would be okay. The ecosystem. I shouldn't say the planet. The George Carlin in me is getting very specific. But the ecosystem. But if plants were to die, everything else would be. Do you understand? Because the plants die, then the herbivores die. Herbivores die, the carnivores die. The whole system falls apart. I can see that you are potato. Again, I get the insult that you're trying to make, but a potato, if you believe you're a potato, I don't, but I believe that a potato plant is still able to survive just as good as us.
Are you related to a banana?
I know this is the "Are you related to a banana?" It's trying to shame us.
Banana tree, yes.
That's what I mean about you got to stop trying to thinking that we're lowering ourselves to potato. It's that the potato is an amazing organism that feeds us. As a wise philosopher once said, potato, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
You can even put them in the microwave and slather it in copious amounts of sour cream.
I know, James.
It's delicious.
Not to get too specific, because we are very specifically a worldwide podcast. But I mean, if you were to look at the American economy, I feel like a third of it is cheese, a third of it is potato, and like the other third is a mix of chocolate and candy. But like, cool. Kinda.
Well, it's
sending so much love.
Well, it's we found it more efficient for, look at the cows. They spend about 12 to 14 hours a day eating very nutrient low density foods like grass, but they have to eat all of it to keep themselves going. So we let them do that work for us. Then we just eat them. So we don't have to spend 12 hours a day eating grass.
But you have to think about the food chain. If the grass were to die, as simple as we think the grass were, then the cow dies, and then we die. Like the foundational pillars, like plants, are way more necessary to other forms of life than we are. Not saying we aren't part of the ecosystem, we don't have our functions, everyone does. I'm just saying that I would rather us lift up all of life instead of look down and try to say, who is the king and queen? There are king and queens. If you want to look at apex predators and things like that, go find that. But even we're apex predators. But isn't that enough? That we can because of our tools, we are fairly strong organisms. Cool. But that doesn't mean that we are the best thing ever.
Apex predators play an important role in the ecosystem too. They keep the population of the other animals within sustainable levels.
Absolutely. And even apex predators have their downsides. I will continue to say, well, first, whales are sometimes hunted by dolphins, unfortunately, as dicks as they are. Sharks are also hunted by dolphins. And we were talking about how skunks have no natural predators, because if you get attacked by a skunk as a hunter, you won't be able to eat. You won't be a very good predator because people will be able to detect you. So you need a hierarchy, right? See, but that's at the top of like the what kills things, because everything dies. We could say a lion is an apex predator. Does that make it better than the grass? It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it more evolutionarily, like the grass is still able to live on. It covers the whole earth.
Well, that's like when Ken Hovind says, evolution's a death call. You always worship death. Everything's got to die so something can get better. And it's like, that is a completely backwards way of looking at it, because everything dies regardless. This is not about life or death. Everything dies at some point. All this is about is making the next generation just a little bit more fit and better adapted.
In fact, if I could just frame that 1 second, and then we really got to finish. I know
we're almost
wants to go eat. But like when that organism, imagine that lion dying, it's sad, it's an apex predator, it probably had a sophisticated life. and yet it ends up feeding the grass. Do you see the connection here? It becomes nutrients as decomposers break it down, as fungi and bacteria break the body down through decomposure. It re-nutrientizes. That's not a word. It gives nutrients. There we go. To the grass, and the cycle continues. All right, I'll give one, and I said one double last
He's
thing.
He's trolling.
No, it's someone different. All right, to MD. I recently learned through being a professor that is a name. See, we're so used to culturally MD being a title. MD is a name. I am like 90% sure that is the sending love to MD for also joining us. Again, we like our theists when they join. I'll give you one reason why I'm not a Muslim. I do not believe in prophets. All right, very specifically, I stake this claim to you. And it's not that I don't believe in the final prophet. I'm not attacking Muhammad. I'm attacking prophethood as a concept. I do not like middlemen for God. That doesn't mean prophets aren't real or true. Maybe they are. But you would have to convince me that Moses was a prophet, that was Adam is considered a prophet, right? Even though he got thrown out. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think
okay.
so. But...
You would still have to prove to me Adam existed. But yes, you'd have to prove to me Moses was a prophet. You would have to prove to me that Jesus was a prophet. I know you don't believe that he was the son of God, but you still believe he was a prophet. So please prove. And Muhammad. I don't believe that Muhammad was a prophet. I'm not saying you don't worship prophets. I'm saying, okay, I'm going forward. Prophets don't exist. Open-minded. Please, I'm open to being proven wrong. But let's continue through this. Wow. This picture, this is so... I'm not even going to say the comment I was going to say. He looks like an aging lesbian in this still frame. And again, sending love to aging lesbians. I love them. I'm bisexual.
Feeds into our relationship with God as well, because our faith is fundamentally supernatural.
You're not a fraud.
I mean, a key component of this is that a God who exists outside of time and space, who's eternally existent, who is one God in essence, and yet it also exists in...
Not a fraud, but your wife was I can't even get the joke out. I was this close to getting it. But your wife last night was Miss Piggy. There we go. Jesus Christ, James.
Perfect harmonious community.
I'm just
three
kidding.
persons, the
I
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, made the entire universe.
Okay, can we also talk about it? Like the 3 parts thing. James, the Christians, they love the 3 parts thing. The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is just somebody's unholy hoax. Don't get jealous. I'm not. Do you have cute abs? If not, I won't get jealous. Just get dinner. Anyway, let's continue.
With but a word.
But
nothing more than that was required. And
yeah, I like that. They're going back to logistics, James. It somehow comes full circle even from the comment section. Just you gotta speak it. You gotta speak it into existence.
They act like that's a reasonable answer. Like that's a satisfactory answer. Speak it into existence.
He spoke it into existence.
That is astonishing. And when you start to think about the world in that perspective, and to remember that there's something more going on than we realize, it
is there though.
It creates a greater sense of wonder and an appreciation.
Go watch a movie
for this world, as messed up as it is sometimes.
That's good.
Yeah. And so
that's actually not to get too meta, but that's why we create art. Yeah, the world's messed up. We create books and movies and comics and games and other ways of connecting with audiences. Yeah, exactly.
That.
We do. And I also think we need this resource. I'm a Christian now. What? Aaron, your story is so compelling. And the book you've written is so helpful.
I'm a Christian now. What? Oh, give me your money.
The story speaks to the truth that we live in a spiritual world, and we can sometimes forget that. But God is on the move in so many new ways. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us today.
I want to be honest. That would have been a very creepy phrase out of context. Oh, God's on the move. Oh, he's coming. He's coming for you. He's going to save you. Okay.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to reveal that my wife almost left me, but in that 3 seconds, I accepted Jesus. I still think that is... Actually, I take that back, James. In rewatching this, the weirdest part's the bathroom.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the silliest aspect.
But, like, yeah, okay. Well, there we have it, folks. He didn't believe until he faced the supernatural. James, I've been waiting. What was the supernatural? I guess it was a guy sitting on his chest while his wife wasn't able to was able to say it.
Yeah. That's the magic.
If you believe in magic, I feel like he paid for that magic to happen, or he just got really drunk and that magic happened. But you know. And to take jokes aside, the most logical answer is they both had dreams. They talked about it afterwards, and they just seemed to overlook where, like they did not address the differences within their explanations for the story. Like it would have been one thing if they were both seeing the exact same thing. Then they generally ask atheists, they're like, well, explain, do you think a bunch of people just saw the same thing? Well, what are we supposed to say to this? Oh, do you think a bunch of people just saw different Yeah, that's what a dream most likely would be. They saw slightly different things. That one guy clearly had issues about, you know, whether he was being abandoned. Oh, I know. It's not dirt. Let me tell you. Those are papers. I don't want to show their names, but I'm grading. I am unfortunately grading. Grading. With more papers and more papers. But whatever. And the pack of goldfish that I stole from them from snack time that I'm eating myself there. I think I have a pack. But nonetheless, James, I guess we do have to officially wrap up. We normally go to an aftermath open mic. Next time we'll give a chance to, because I see theists in chat and that gets me excited. We have our lovely regulars like always in there, like the Freak and Disciple Day, and but it's also
where'd the Dawa come from?
To have the Dawa. I will say I used to go on Dawa channels. I don't know if that's because I used to go on there or this is just random. Like I had my trans debate. And now they're just coming over there. But I like it. I'll continue to say, I want you to feel welcome. As much flack as you're probably going to get from all the skeptics in the room, including these two lovely hosts. I want you to feel welcome. This is a free speech channel. As long as you obey the TOS. We do have one God, actually.
Within reason.
For the TOS. For look down upon us. Yeah. Anything else, James, before we head out? Anything? Let's see if anyone else is live while you're answering.
No, nada.
All right. But Hive Sai, sending love to Hive Sai. I'm gonna send love out there to her.
Good to see you.
Send love out to Bree's channel in there. She's live right now. Go check her out. Oh my goodness. So sending love to also random people. Who knows who this random person is, but I'm sending so much love out to them. You should also check out Bree's channel right below. She's live. I know lots of skeptic content goes live on Sunday. Or Saturday. We're Saturday. Wow, I'm skipping ahead already. Oh, I was gonna try and think of all this Sunday content that comes out.
You going tomorrow?
It's Saturday.
Or no?
What's that?
Is your show tomorrow? The helpline?
I do not know. I don't think so. We're probably going to play Baldur's Gate. We haven't played it. dragging Rachel along because the femboy is very lawful good, and I am very chaotic good, and she is very chaotic neutral, and she just wants to fight people all day. And but we're goody two shoes, unfortunately. For how blue hair my hair gets. Do I have an OnlyFans? My goodness, Yusuf, in a decade or so off, unfortunately. That used to be. I'm still proud. We were talking about this earlier. I will always be proud of the work I did, and I will always be proud of my fellow brothers and sisters who are still in that industry, and sending a shout out to them because it's very much real work. But no, I have so much debt that I might as well use these degrees now, right?
It's always the religious who want access to your own.
I forget who I'm stealing this from. I have OnlyFans. No, I don't have an only Amaretto. Send love to her out there. No. It didn't exist when I was in that industry. I'm truly getting older, as you can tell with these glasses. I guess glasses don't have age. You can have any age, but nonetheless, nope. I did Backpage and all that fun stuff, and good times. And Groovy, Shemale Young.
Back before the cavalry came in and closed down Backpage.
Yes, exactly. But there's other websites if I really wanted to, but I feel like what's Backpage? God damn it, James. Anyway, it's like asking what Skype is. We really are becoming a specific generation. It doesn't matter because the people that dislike sex work, not to like James, it really does. I tell you, all the social issues, it all comes back to who are the people that dislike, if we were to really break it down, sex work and other things, the religious. Who are the people that dislike the LGBTQ? The religious. So it's like, and I'll be specific, it's the fundamentalists, it's the hardcore fundamentalists. There's a lot of liberal, capital L, lowercase l, whatever, however you want to frame it, that accept LGBTQ. I didn't answer. I said profits, because profits make profits. I don't want to call Muhammad a con artist. Maybe he really did believe it, but the main reason I don't believe in Islam is because I don't believe that prophets exist. It's hard for me to believe. I'm not saying I don't believe in God, because you're asking me about Islam specifically. If you're asking me about theism or deism, I would go out even, which is generally, I find, what Muslims on the internet do. They want to go as far out as possible. They want to go, when you talk about Kalam, God's not even in it anymore. The Kalam cosmological argument. Would God leave us without guidance?
Yes, he would.
Yes. Here's the thing. How powerful is your God? Can he give us guidance right in here? Can he beam it down? Can he, there's so many things we could arbitrarily create if your God had all of these omnis that, I get it. I've heard the apologetics or the dawa or whatever you want to call it for why you need a prophet. You call a prophet a teacher. Don't you need a teacher? What's the first sentence in the Quran? I don't know, but let's take a look. The Skeptics, this is such a loophole, but Skeptics Annotated. Let's go to Quran, the opening. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Okay. Cool. I mean, you're just claiming it. This is like the Christians. It's like getting in arguments with fundamentalist Christians, and yet I've found that there's something before that. I don't see what is before that. Tell me. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to do this on the next part. I'll even invite you on. You can have open mic. We'll let you on. I go out of my way not to mute people, though I have new rules, James. I feel like being a special ed teacher, for so long. I swear that if people overtalk, I don't care if you're a theist, an atheist, a liberal, or conservative. I no longer am gonna let people talk over each other. I'll mute both people. I swear. I've developed this like pull apart.
Yeah.
And I hear them, but they start. I don't care who started it. I don't care who started it. Just go to your separate corners. The mother in me.
Amy Newman, penis be upon her.
Penis be upon her. I just like Allah snack bar. I would open an Allah snack bar filled with halal treats. Wait, is halal bad? No, halal's good.
Haram is
halal
bad,
meat.
I think. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. It's like kosher. Different but similar. Everyone's got a shtick, as the new Captain America would say. He wasn't Captain America when he said it, but James, see, I love my fan fiction, Marvel, DC superhero stuff because I get into that as much as I think the religious get into that. Is there a schedule? Let me tell you, Disciple Day. In the future, as summer hits, I'm gonna hire. Regular. I want to hire an assistant to manage our dates so that James and I could just talk amongst each other, and then we could tell this girl or boy just to schedule it, and then like I want a marketing. I want all that. I want to become a producer again. And it's been hard without the time. But to answer your question, Disciple Day, hopefully in the future, maybe we can get that done. I want to get people who manage Discord. I want to get people who manage Patreon, the channel membership. I would hire everybody. What were we talking about? Anyway, this has been Skeptic and Ranting on He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural. Sending love to all of the atheists and theists in there. You believe? Oh, James, James, you might have been right. There's no way. Here's the thing. But what if it really does? It's the internet. We've met people who said that they have. Here's what gets me. We've met people. I understand if you think that you've been topped by God, but once you start saying that you've topped God, that's an ego. Let me tell you. What was God into? Was he into being dressed like a sissy if you topped him? Oh my God. But this is, again, it's the internet. Sending love to the internet. We're on there. This is live. Sending love to Alex Jones and the frogs. Both the regular frogs that fell from the sky and the ones that turned gay. This has been Midnight Ranting on He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural, where we watched a video from the channel 100 Huntley. I really should have looked up what that means because now I keep on wanting to make jokes.
That is a weird name.
200 Huntley, 300 Huntley. Oh, sold for 400 Huntley. Where we watched a video called He Didn't Believe Until He Faced the Supernatural for a supernaturally good time. However, I do want to thank my co-host, James W., along with all the fantastic people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. I said it. You can let them go now, YouTube. Anyway, you can then hit that bell icon to get what can you get? So many things. You can get reminders to see our live streams and our premieres. I also want to send love to all the people. There's so many ways that you can help us. Did we miss these? I felt like we missed these. Oh my goodness. James, oh my God.
What happened?
We missed super chats from so long ago. Oh my goodness.
The
I'm
$2 one, they don't
so
stay up.
much.
Yeah,
sending so much to Robin. Sending us $2 super chat. Hello, James, and hello, Amy Jeebus. Hello, Amy and James fucking Jeebus. That's right. Sending so much love back to Robin. I mean, he didn't seem to see Jesus. I don't really know what he went up against in this episode, except for a guy sitting on his chest. And if I ask Rachel, I feel like that's a thing. That's something you normally have to pay for. But, you know, Who knows? You know, these Christians, let me tell you,
They had a
spending so
coupon.
much. I know they had a coupon. James, if you're lucky, I feel like I'm stealing this from one of the late night hosts. You'll have a coupon. Sending love to DeFreak, who also gave us a $2 super chat. Sending so much love. Looking great. Oh, thank you so much. I had my hair done, getting glasses. I also have a CPAP machine, but that's completely different. I'm going to tell you a story in a second. Sending so much love to Freak.
Good night.
As well as the Sinister Porpoise. Sending so much love. As well as Mark Reid. As well as some random person out there that doesn't want shout out. But we're just sending so much love to him anyway. This is where we'd be doing it. But I'm not sending so much love to him. Yeah, I guess that's it. As well as all of our channel members, all of the lovely people in Discord with the link in our channel below. And lastly, if you want to help us directly unlock unique perks and more fun, you can head, and it's going to be revamped. So many changes coming. I have time, but James, we have time now. Coming within 2 weeks,
time.
2.5 weeks. I know we get told we worship time because we believe in a 4.5 billion year old Earth and a 13.8 billion year old universe, and thus we worship time, of course. Yes. But you can help us out at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I'm Amy Newman, and along with James W., we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
That's true, Bert. Good night. Do. They moved everything. Good night or good